Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve. Or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Excuse me! Taxi! What are you doing?
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Iranian hardliners who are running Tehran, the IRGC, are essentially claiming that 1 million fighters are primed for a U.S. invasion. This, of course, and they're also making demands for nuclear escalation, which is really frightening. And this comes as President Trump just put out a statement saying we're not going to hit energy facilities, at least not until Monday, April 6th at 8 o'clock. So what does all of this mean? Who better than General Keith Kellogg? General Kellogg, we're so happy to have you here, my friend. First of all, what do you make? This is really frightening. They're sort of throwing out the nuclear word, and some of these hardliners are saying, essentially, we're waiting for you, and maybe it might get to a nuclear level. How concerned should we be?
Well, Rita, thanks for having me. I'm not concerned at all. I mean, they're talking. It's all bluster. And this is one of those, just go about your daily activities. I'm not worried about it. Look, my take is a little more aggressive than the president is. I would go in and I would use ground troops to take Karg Island and also the islands offshore of Bandar Abbas and free up the Strait of Hormuz and also basically neutralize their economic ability to produce 80 to 90% of their oil out there. Now, I know that there's risk to it, and I don't need anybody to tell me about risk. I kind of got it. I know it. But, we've been, as Marco Rubio said the other day, we've been really at war with these guys. They've been at war with us over the last 40 years. And I think, you're getting kind of tired of it. I remind you of the Romans were with Carthage in the Punic Wars, the Third Punic War, 100 years before Christ. They finally got fed up with them and invaded Carthage and basically destroyed the city and took 50,000 captives, and you never heard from Carthage again. It's kind of the same way we need to treat Iran, and I think we can do it. And I think that's the way to do it. Instead of just saying, well, we have to keep worrying about this for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line. And you're right about one thing. Their leaders, the ones that are still alive, like a guy named Vahidi, these guys are all hardliners. They're all Revolutionary Guards. They all came up through the last 40 years. They don't like America, and you basically have to get rid of the government. It's a theocratic government that's against America. They're going to be there at the end of Trump's tour, the next term, if you leave them. And I am saying now's the time we need to finish this in the Middle East, get it done with, finish it up, bring them back to normalcy as best you can in the region, and then move on. We're the only country that could do it. President Trump was the only guy who had the guts to do it, and he's done it. We're into a war now, and we should treat it like a war. It's not a business deal. It's a war.
Bravo. I agree. I think we need to pound them to submission, because if not, and I brought up the line, General Kellogg, that Netanyahu said. To me, it's we don't want to replace Hitler and have a Himmler. You can't go halfway.
Yeah. Well, he's right. I mean, the fact is, these guys they've grown up in generation plus of people who are anti-American, anti-Israel, and we just need to recognize that. And we can take away their military; they can regrow that. We've taken away their nuclear capacity; they could probably regrow that, and as long as they have the leadership that wants to do it. And I just think we need to get rid of the government, and there's a way to do it. You can do it with limited military means to do so. But this is like we're like the Roman legions of old. The only way you change a government is not through air power or sea power. You go in and occupy what they consider to be valuable, their land, their economic lifeline, and let's do it. I mean, so I'm sure people are going to run home now and have their martini or clutch their pearls, but I don't really care because I've been there before. Nobody needs to tell me the risk. But once we got involved with this, Trump has become a wartime president, whether he likes it or not. He's a wartime president. And we shouldn't treat this as just a business deal. We should treat it for what it is, which is a war.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. We love hearing from you, General Kellogg. Ed Cox.
So, General, a lot of focus on Kellogg Island. I bet the president would like to cut off their oil by taking Kellogg Island. How do you do that with the military? How do you get the troops in? You can't parachute them in. They're vulnerable. They obviously have people who are going to shoot them. How do you do that?
Well, it's not, it's not risk-free. It's not antiseptic. But you can put them on by airborne assault into the island. You can do it obviously at night or with the aircraft are doing it, and do suppressive fires beforehand. Seize the island, hold it. It's an island. It's offshore by 16 miles, and they don't have a good amphibious capability. But once you own it, you own 90% of their oil output. You own them economically, and then you could use Marines like the amphibious ready groups. There's two of them. One of them is Tripoli, it's close by, to go there, take the islands off the Strait of Hormuz, and then you control it. But nobody is ever saying, people seem to make a mistake. I mean, they watch movies or play video games and think that war is antiseptic. It's not. There's risk involved, and you've got people who can get hurt in it, hurt badly. I know that. I've been there. So I don't need people to tell me it's not dangerous. Of course it is. But if once you get into the fight, once you're involved with it, then you've got to take it to the finish. It's sort of like in a military river crossing operation. You shouldn't get halfway across the river and decide, this isn't a good idea. No, get the job done, finish it. That's the reason I use that example of the Romans in the Punic War with Carthage. Once they decide, I've had enough of this stuff, go forward and do it. So it's one of those, just say everybody sit back, let it roll, let the military do its job, recognize there's going to be some risks to it all, and go with it. It's the way it's been done. And then, just one of those, everybody's, I'm sure, going to run around and get nervous about it. So, it's one of those, so what? It's part of the game.
Yeah, it is. And the stakes could not be higher. General Kellogg, I'm thinking of you and I were in Normandy together. And I think about that moment, the courage of the young people to go in and what that moment meant. Obviously that was a very broad war, but I think we are now confronting another horrible evil like my father was and so many people, the Nazis. And that I applaud President Trump, the courage and the bravery and how he's looking for future generations. It is an important moment here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rita. And the fact is, when you and I were in Normandy, when you look down on the beaches and you walk the beaches, could you imagine if they'd gone on the beach and then decided to call it off? You can't. Once you're committed, once Eisenhower committed on Normandy, they went forward. It had horrific losses. They know that, but they had a job to do. And our military and our men and women in the military are great, and they will finish that job. It's one of those things that everybody has to realize. This is not a business deal. This is war. And I think when you look at Marco Rubio, his explanations were good. President Trump needs a good wartime consigliere that says basically we just have to go with it and finish the job that's out there. He's going to get a lot of people pushing back against him. But I think this is a threat to the United States and to the world, just not the region. That has to be finished once and for all. Again, just like the Romans decided before Christ with the Carthaginians. Enough is enough. Let's finish the job. Do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are praying for our brave men and women, too, that are in this fight with us, too. This is a big one. General Keith Kellogg, you got to come back on again soon. We love you, and thank you for all you've done for this country. You're such a great American. Thank you.
Thanks, Rita. Thanks.
Thank you so much.